So I want to point out a couple things before we begin this review, this 10-year anniversary review of the classic. Or not 10-year, actually like 24-year. I don't know why I said 10 years. It's just it's the birthday, okay? I wanted to say that you can see there's 2 spots open on the vinyl wall right now because I have to put 3 down there now. I'm getting new hooks soon, trust me. But it's because today, finally, after months of waiting, I got it. This way. It finally came. I've been waiting for this freaking album for so long, and it finally came in, and I absolutely love it. One of the vinyls doesn't work on this player, which really pisses me off. I think I'm gonna get a new. I'm gonna get a new player soon. But yeah, it opens up. It's quite the epic case. It also came with a poster, and I put that poster right there because I think it looks great, and that's why I'm keeping the censor picture on. First of all, that's the weird version I'm used to because I've used streaming services like Spotify, which is what they have. They have this on there. And also, if I were to keep the ballerina dancer, it would look weird with that there too. So I'm keeping it like this. But I'm very excited and very happy to finally have this album. I ordered this back in December, and it came in April. But I'm happy I have it. This is, I so many times want to call this my favorite album. It's not, but like, if it wasn't, I don't know. This is probably my 3rd favorite album, behind To Pimp a Butterfly and the one we're reviewing today. I'm going to lock the light because it's looking awful. It's snowing outside again. Hey, look, it's late April and it's snowing. Great for KFDM. Not at all. I'm joking. So I'm going to go put this up on the wall right below, right next to Kids See Ghosts, because Kanye, Kanye gets his vinyls right next to each other. But today, we're not reviewing My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I've already done that. Today, we're reviewing a classic that is turns, came in 94, so how old is this album now? It's old now. It's been out for a very long time now. Illmatic by Nas. I really want to review this album today, not only to celebrate 10 years, I just feel like it'd be good to kind of, this is what I'd say, okay? There's a trinity of albums where I could physically not find an issue in. This, To Pimp a Butterfly, and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. These 3 are the only albums I've ever listened to where I seriously could not find an issue. Even with like the Eminem Show, which would probably be my favorite album that's not those 3, I still find issues within that album. I don't find issues within these 3. This album specifically, I call it my all-time favorite album. I love literally everything about it. Literally everything. And I just want to talk about it. I think it's good now that I've already reviewed I already reviewed To Pimp a Butterfly in a 2-hour series. I'm going to move this up a bit. I don't like doing this in the video or whatever. I already reviewed that in a 2-hour series. I reviewed My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy with the Tatermeister. So I'm reviewing Illmatic solo today because it's the birthday and I think it's good to review this album. I might put this up on the wall though. Actually, I'm going to keep it here, because I don't have the track list fully memorized, and it's on the back, so I'm just going to keep this here and then read it all like that. Because I know what I think about all these songs. These are all classics to me, but I'm just going to go through this. So let's start about my history with Illmatic. I first heard Illmatic, how old would I have been? Oh, I wasn't that young. This isn't that long ago, actually, because I haven't been a hip-hop fan for years now. I've been an Eminem fan for years, but if you know how I went, it was like, when I was like in 5th grade, maybe like 2017, I got really into Eminem music. For a couple of years, that's all I really listened to. Then in 2020, around when quarantine started, I decided I wanted to really learn more about hip-hop. I got super sucked into it. And the first album, the album I started with to get that interest rolling was Illmatic. That was the album I started with. I'd heard this was the greatest album of all time. I had actually heard no albums from Nas, so I wanted to get to know him better. And as a whole, I was just curious to hear why this was considered the greatest album ever. And that's a great starting point when you really think about it. Starting with what's considered the first. Now, I listen to every Eminem album, but truly in my quest to dive deep into hip-hop, this was the first album I heard. And that's a great starter, in my opinion, because Illmatic is such a, it's such an influential classic album. There's a reason why this is often considered the most influential album ever, and you don't really realize it's the most influential album ever until you really listen to hundreds of albums that came out after it. When you really hear not only the production style, the rapping style, the lyrics, the references to all the classic bars on this, it gets really it just really sinks in. This has been my favorite album since the day I heard it. I've considered moving it down from that top spot and replacing it with To Pimp a Butterfly or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but it still stays there. It still remains at my favorite, And I think that's mostly just because of the nostalgia I have for this. Because this, I would call the album that really got me sucked into hip-hop. I'll go through this track list, but honestly enough, I'll just say flat out, I could like genuinely say all 9 tracks on this are some of my favorite songs ever. First thing is the Genesis. I said all 9 tracks because the Genesis is like a weird sample intro. I wouldn't call it one of my favorites ever just because it's samples. It's a cool sample. It kind of brings you into the world of Nas. Oh, what's he been influenced by? But this album is a very good example of just, there is no, like, nothing, like, no, like, there's no dead time. It just keeps, it's really fast paced. It keeps going. Not like Ready to Die, amazing album too, one of my favorites. But with Ready to Die, that album very much kind of takes its time. And same with some of my other favorite albums. They all just kind of take their time to like get things rolling. This one doesn't. This one, it goes, okay, here's the Genesis, like a minute of just samples of his influences. Okay, start with that first track, NY State of Mind. The best Nas track ever, in my opinion. A top 10 hip-hop song ever, in my opinion. NY State of Mind's verse 1 is probably among, like, my top 5 favorite verses ever. It's not even my favorite Nas verse, surprisingly. My favorite Nas verse would have to be Nas's Like, verse 1. That is great. NY State of Mind, though, my favorite piano sample in hip-hop. You know that piano. If you heard the album, you know this album. You hear that piano sample from a mile away. It's so well put together. So many classic lines from this one song. Like, I never sleep because sleep is the cousin of death. I don't know, but I think this is the first time. I could be wrong. There could be some... Because I'm not too, like, knowledgeable about the 80s hip-hop era. I'm knowledgeable enough. Like, I've heard The Message... Sugar Hill Gang, things like that, and Run DMC, but I'm not, like, super, like, knowledgeable in it. But I know, like, the 90s very well, and I don't think I've heard an album that came before Illmatic that had that whole I don't sleep thing. Like, that's just now a thing in hip-hop. And that sleep is the cousin of death, Lil Wayne, so many people reference that one line. Lil Wayne on 6 Foot 7 Foot, Life is a Bitch, and that's a reference to another song on this album. Life is a Bitch and Death is her sister. Sleep is a cousin. What a fucking family picture. See, like, there's also just Nothing's equivalent to the New York State of Mind. There's like just so many bars from this song that just, that intro line, that is best intro line to hip hop ever. That I can't say the word. Straight out the fucking dungeons of rap. We're fake. Don't make it back. Truly just a phenomenal opening. This track is just so well put together in the samples, in his flows, and it's just straight cuts to the chase. It's so enjoyable. We go into the track Life's a Bitch, which, okay, first of all, we need to talk about the message of NY State of Mind is basically he's different when he's in New York, you know, he has a different kind of mindset, whether that be he's more into this hip-hop, he's more into the criminal life, he's just different in New York. But Life's a Bitch kind of goes on a different topic. Basically, life's a bitch. I don't know if just saying the phrase life's a bitch happened after or before this, but usually when people reference life's a bitch, which I think is the most overused reference in hip-hop, rappers will reference life's a bitch like they're the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, literally every rap fan's heard Illmatic. You're not that cool for referencing that one song. The classic song, obviously, with AZ, truly amazing verse. This could arguably be the best verse on the album. I don't know, but it's quite the incredible verse. Nas is a phenomenal verse, too. It's just a very classic, great boom bap track. The message of this one's basically just kind of YOLO. Like, life's a bitch and then you die. That's why we get high, because you never know when you're going to go. And then you have the... what's the other bar that comes in? Nas' verse is a little more hopeful. He kind of looks up like, hey, maybe it's not going to be that way. I really enjoy this song. Classic song. The World Is Yours. Sometimes argued his best song. I don't agree, but I wouldn't argue against that. Probably my third favorite after this and Nas' Like. World Is Yours is just a classic track. That piano. Oh, this is my favorite hook from the album. I might say that. I do love the Life's a Bitch. I would say that one, but just truly just whose world is this? The world that's just classic. And on top of that, okay, that might be my favorite 3-track run. Okay, second, because the greatest 3-track run ever is in the middle of Michael Jackson's Thriller. How does it go? Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean. Best 3-track run ever. 3 of my favorite songs, all in one. These are 3 of my favorite songs too, but I would say that like all 3 of those songs by Michael Jackson are higher up. But I would say Life's a Bitch and The World Is Yours are probably both of my favorite songs ever. The World Is Yours is just a classic song. Or verse, all 3 verses, incredible Nas verses. Halftime, I would say that this is probably my least favorite on the album. It's mostly just because I don't think like... I love every song from this album. This is still one of my favorite songs. But I don't think it like... I feel like you could remove Halftime. And the album would still work. But I should include it because it's a phenomenal track. I really enjoy Halftime. I think it's a nice track. I really love the trumpet sample over the hook. Nice flow, nice rhythm. As usual, it's Illmatic. Memory Lane, fantastic track. I love this song. I love that sample in the background. Oh, it's just so... The way that it just hits. And I love, obviously, the theme of this track is reflecting back, thinking back to the times, you know. I love this song so much. Some people call it the best on the album, and I can't really shoot that down. I love this song so much. It's just such a great song. One Love, y'all know One Love. Like we all know One Love. Like, what instrument does he use? The thumb instrument, I can't even remember. Well, first, really like one of the first rap songs to use that. Now, I will say this. I think One Love is the most overrated song on the album. Here's why. Okay, I said I couldn't pick a flaw in this album, and this isn't really a flaw, because what it still delivers is great, but why put Q-Tip? Q-Tip, like one of the greatest to ever do it, on just the hook to repeat 2 words. I don't dislike the track for this, I still think it's a phenomenal song, but like, it's freaking Q-Tip. Like, one of the greatest. But then you kind of have to realize that, like, the Nas verses on this track are as good as a Q-Tip verse would have been. Despite the fact of how much I love Q-Tip, Nas is just a better rapper. But, I don't know. I could have done I could have done for just more of a performance from Q-Tip. Maybe even more of a hook for Q-Tip. But I still enjoy it. This is the first time I heard Q-Tip. When I first heard this song, I thought Q-Tip was just some side guy. And then I heard about these guys called A Tribe Called Quest. And then I listened to A Tribe Called Quest. And now they're like my favorite group in hip-hop ever. So I will get a We Got It From Here vinyl. I want that out. That album is incredible. I want that vinyl so bad. I also want to, I think next... Okay, I'll get back to the Illmatic. But the next vinyl I'm getting, just saying, it will definitely be Mad Villainy. Because I need Mad Villainy so bad. That is such a cool album. I need that. One Time For Your Mind. This is usually what's considered the worst on the album. And I don't... It's my second least favorite. So I wouldn't say it's like bad. It's a great song. I love the way they do the hook, like the One Time For Your Mind, one time, yeah, whatever. It sounds clever. How does he do it? I don't know. I remember when he says, "But kicking for them gangsters, man. Fuck all that." That's just the way he delivered that. I love that. I think it has a great verse. It's more, I think, more of the pace of the song that people don't like, which I get, but I still love it. Phenomenal song. Represent. This is an incredible track too. I love that beat. I love the way those drums kind of kick in. The way the chanting comes on of the represent, 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 that's just obviously phenomenal. Nas gives great verses like you'd expect. It ain't hard to tell. I mean, this is the ending song. It's truly just a great song. I love that trumpet sample. That's one of the best samples in hip-hop, flat out. Nas' first verse on this, I don't think I could actually recite it, to be honest. It might be a little too, it's just so smooth. It's just so great. That's the thing that Illmatic does so well. Every verse on this album, there's very few just but this flows are very da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It very rarely takes that breath, but it's not like speed rap. It's like he's just kind of rolling with it. Okay, it's not speed rap. It's not him going lickety split the wickety whack ribbity rap. It's not that bullshit. It's not I wouldn't say it's like Biggie, where he's going smooth. It just sounds more very relentlessly consistent, and he does this on every single verse. I wouldn't Sorry, my alarm went off right there. I don't know why I did that. Why I have it set for 5 o'clock and it just goes off 5 o'clock. How I really word this ending to the album is just fantastic. Honestly, I just love the way, Nas really just first of all, like I was saying, I'll go back to what I was saying. if we really round it off, there are 3 verses per song, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the case. And there are there's a 1 verse on Life's a Bitch. Okay, 3 on NY State of Mind. Is there 3? Wait, there might be 2. I don't remember. Point is that there's like 20 plus verses on this album. And they're all among the greatest verses ever, honestly. Like, just the way he just words everything. It's like he always keeps that consistent flow, but he never gives up consistent. He never gives consistent flow and bad lyrics. Like, the lyrics are always phenomenal, and so is the flow. Just, like, Illmatic, this is the greatest album ever. I just have to say that. This album it's just so perfect. There's just nothing that comes out the gate like Illmatic. Just bars here and there, references here and there, influence just pouring out of this album. This album wasn't that big when it came out, surprisingly. I think it ain't hard to tell. It peaked at like 90-something on the chart. This wasn't like a very popular album. Not nearly as popular as like Ready to Die, which is the other 94 album. I truly love Illmatic. I would easily call this my all-time favorite record. It's just truly an incredible album. And obviously speaking, I mean, I don't even know if I need to rate it. I'm giving Illmatic an A+. It's just an A+. I mean, come on. What do you guys think on Illmatic? How are you guys? It's 26, 27. Damn, Illmatic has a kid now. I don't know. When you're 27, you don't inherently have a kid. See you guys next time. I think I'm going to go put this back up on the wall. Peace out. I got a Slam Language 2 and a La Machina review, the Conway album, coming soon. I really am excited to talk about both of those. See you guys next time. Bye. Stream Illmatic for his 27th birthday.